Which aspect of a foreign culture do you wish they had in your country? I could really go for more saunas and hot springs. It would be great to have more saunas and sauna culture like Finland. Asian night markets. Not many places you can go in the US at night to just walk around, hang out, get some food, other than bars. Guess that's why malls used to be so popular. Edit. Yes, malls aren't open nearly as late. I guess I just meant lots of people used to go to malls, maybe they still do, just to walk around, eat, and see and be seen. Similar to why people go to night markets. A third space that is often lacking in the US in general. Edit 2. https://youtube.be/lwwjgb9cwim. Goddamn hungry. Japanese-style vending machines. I'm in the UK and they would just be vandalized. Having a siesta midday and then everyone staying up way later and hanging out. I miss pre-K and kindergarten. Forced nap time is much missed. Edit. Thank you the gold. Work-life balance. Working to death is not the answer in an Asian society that always wanna win or never lose face. Shout out to my Swedish friends. Fika is a social institution in Sweden where people take a break from work for coffee and socializing. It's about slowing down, catching up with friends, and really not being so focused on work. It's the mindset that comes with it about self-care and not overworking yourself that I find so refreshing. In North America, coffee breaks at work typically still revolve around work talk that you don't get a chance for a mental break. Teaching a second language early on in schools. Canadian. Edit. This is my first comment to ever blow up like this. I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels this way. Also, thank you for the golds. Cleaning up rubbish. I am born in Ireland but I am from Romania. They don't clean up rubbish in Romania. This is for the simple fact that there aren't empty trash bins to throw rubbish into. This is most evident in touristic areas like beaches, hiking areas and rivers. There's literally rivers filled with rubbish from tourists who don't have the decency to hold on to the rubbish. That's what I would want in Romania. Showing the actual price of items in stores instead of having to add the tax on. Take your F-shoes off in my house. I attended an American uni that had a local campus in my country and the professors from the American campus would travel to our local campus to teach us. In one class, the professor asked us about an aspect about American culture we couldn't understand. Not taking shoes off in the house was unanimously voted as number 1. Make an attempt to keep public bathrooms clean. FFS. How people use public bathrooms. Really? What other country has clean public bathrooms? I've seen S-cover toilets all over Spain, Amsterdam, Denmark. More emphasis of quality over quantity in food. A giant cup of watered-down coffee is not as satisfying as a modest-sized but decent coffee. A giant chocolate bar made with C ingredients that just barely legally qualifies as chocolate is not as satisfying or a proper piece of real chocolate. It would be nice if we could have both. If I go to a fancy restaurant, the food tastes amazing but I end up leaving hungry, which is annoying. Chains taste bland but at least I get a decent serving size. Being polite, caring for strangers as a society. I've been to roughly 20 countries but US Americans have been by far the politest and caring people I've ever met. I don't know, but I have never felt so confident as in those 3 weeks. I have never gotten as many compliments from strangers, and I mean actual compliments, not catcalling, and have never had that many people randomly starting conversations without being drunk. Good to see a fellow empathetic American here. When I was in France, I was taken aback watching people argue about things and not getting upset with each other. As an Australian, that was one of the most refreshing things I'd ever seen. In my part of the world, people attach themselves personally to every little inconsequential opinion or viewpoint. If you challenge that viewpoint, people respond as if you're attacking them personally, and it turns to S like clockwork. It's such a deep-seated attitude. We ended up with the phrase, "No politics at the dinner table." Someone's inevitably gonna get upset, and then everyone's having a S night. French don't give a F. They'll debate politics, philosophy, religion, economics, all that S until they're blue in the face. The mood never drops. You don't feel the energy in the room become more and more hostile. So that was nice. More emphasis on public transportation like Europe. I'm from US. Edit. It's probably the case that not everywhere in Europe has great public transportation. But I think it's safe to say that collectively Europe is better off in comparison to America when it comes to public transportation. Perhaps it would be better to say like in parts of Europe. Traditional Mongolian warmongering and throat singing. Ah yes, and wife kidnapping as well. The buttons at tables in restaurants in Korea that request a server. The Yogi-Yo button. Man, I miss it every time I go to the US. I can see parents letting their little kids play with the button and frustrating the server though. It seems a lot more normal in the States to go to therapy, which I wish was a thing here in the UK. Obviously there is therapy here, but from my perspective here it seems like society only thinks you should go to therapy if you have serious diagnosed issues, when in reality it can help everyone from time to time. Also bidets. Never tried one, but it makes much more sense hygiene-wise. Like, if you had poop on your hand, you wouldn't be content with just wiping it off. You'd hopefully properly wash your hands with soap and water. I live in the US and wish more healthy lifestyles were promoted and more accessible. For example, even if you're just getting a fast food meal, there are much healthier options in countries such as Japan. Rice, sushi, seaweed can be cheap, easy snacks. In America, a fast, cheap meal is mostly just whatever is at McDonald's, so fries, burger, etc., and the emphasis on getting the biggest, best thing all the time. It can be so excessive and wasteful at times. Edit. This video does a good job of explaining some differences between American and Japanese fast foods. Not taking up space needlessly, being considerate to others in common spaces. In North America, people will stand in doorways, stop to have a chat in the middle of a busy hallway. Basically take up space that is for common use and not think it is rude whatsoever. I cannot tell you how many times I've come across someone blocking a doorway and you give them like 5 seconds to move, and then when you say "excuse me" to get by, they look at you like you're rude. You're standing in a doorway people need to come and go out of. Be considerate.